So please join me in welcoming Dan Gingiss.
Good morning. Good morning, Benco Dental. How's everybody doing? All right. I'm not usually up this early, so I am going to be in charge of keeping you guys wide awake and getting you ready for a great day. Today, we're going to talk about how a remarkable customer experience can be your best sales and marketing strategy. Now, I want to start with something maybe a little bit controversial, especially for a bunch of salespeople in the room. Competing on price is a loser's game. Just ask this gas station down the street from my house. Every time they lower the price of gas by a penny, the gas station across the street from them does the same thing. And on we go until they're giving away gas for free. Competing on product has also become really, really difficult, as I'm sure the gas station people would attest. But consider a company that's considered one of the most innovative companies in the world, Uber, and they got copied by Lyft. So if we can't compete on price and we can't compete on product, what's left? The answer is customer experience. And the best part about customer experience is that it's delivered by human beings. And the human beings at Benco Dental are unique. No one else has our human beings, which means that we can provide a customer experience that no one else can provide. If you're driving down the street and you see this gas station versus the one that has a sign for 99-cent 2-liter bottles of Pepsi, which one makes you feel better about doing business with them? I would stop at this one. Now, throughout this presentation, I want you to think about two populations. The first is the experience of being a Benco customer. I don't mean what are they buying from us and how much more can I sell to them. What I mean is put yourself in their shoes as if they are receiving your visit. What does it feel like to be a Benco customer? What are the emotions attached to it? And how is that different from our competition? The other population that we can't forget about is what is it like to be a customer of our customer? After all, most of the equipment and the supplies that we sell, this person is either the recipient of or end user of. And so if we think about their experience, we can think about how to have our dentists provide a unique customer experience, which makes their business more profitable, which means they need to buy more stuff from us. Think about both of those populations throughout my presentation, because the examples that I'm going to show you are not from the dental industry, and that is on purpose. I want you to stretch your mind and think about what other companies in other industries do and how we can apply it back to our company. So first, I want to talk about what kind of experiences get shared. Now, I'm a big social media guy, and when we think of social media, we often think of negative experiences, right? People go to social media to complain about something that went wrong. We often forget that a lot of people also will share positive experiences. Do you know what they don't share? It's what my millennial friends call meh. No one shares a so-so experience. I had a perfectly average experience last night at dinner. Let me tell you about it. Nobody does that, right? So we share great experiences and terrible experiences. And what our job here at Benco is to take that dotted line of meh and move that all over to positive so that we have so many experiences that our dentists and their patients have with Benco Dental that they're more willing to talk about us. Not just in social media, but to their friends, their family, and their colleagues. Interestingly enough, about a third of consumers say that when they've had a bad experience, they will share that online by either posting in social media or writing a negative review. But what's unbelievable is nearly half of consumers say the same thing about a positive experience. Let me say that again. People are more willing to share a positive experience than they are to share a negative experience. So why doesn't that happen more often? Well, let me ask you, by a show of hands, how many people remember the last time that a brand treated them so amazingly well, they couldn't wait to tell their friends and family about it? I see about 10 hands. Now, by a show of hands, tell me the last time you were disappointed with a company. I see many hands. As consumers, we don't have any positive experiences to share, or very, very few of them, which is why, as a company, when we can provide that positive experience, that alone is surprising to the customer, and they will want to talk about it. So I've developed a methodology on how to create a great experience in your business. And this applies to Benco as a whole, but I also think it applies to each one of the salespeople in the room who really have their own businesses. Y stands for witty, immersive, shareable, and extraordinary. And we're going to talk about all four of these, and here's where I'm going to give you lots of examples. So let's start with witty. Now, when I say witty, I don't mean humorous, because humor can be dangerous. What I find funny, you might find offensive, or vice versa. So I'm not telling you to go out there and be a stand-up comedian. But I am asking you to look at every piece of communication that you have and try to figure out how you can change the words to be a little bit more clever, to get maybe a smile on someone's face, not a wholehearted laugh. Like this guy in Manhattan. I absolutely love this guy. I don't even know what he sells, but I know he's got a personality. I know he's honest, and I want to do business with him. It's a shoe store, by the way, in case you were wondering. Here's a company that is a UK fashion brand, but hey, there might as well be dental supplies in this bag. And they printed out a bag that had a little bit of a mistake on it. Now, most companies would have not noticed the mistake or would have thrown out the bags, but not ASOS. They turned it into a tweet that got them 50,000 likes. Can you admit when you make a mistake? And can you be self-deprecating about it and admit that you're human? Because that will create a remarkable connection with your customers. We're all human. We all make mistakes. And it's okay to laugh at ourselves about it. I recently got, any Nebraska people in the room? All right. I recently got this in the mail. It is the official, not at all what you think, Nebraska State Travel Guide. Now, I was originally drawn to the photo at the beginning. I'm not entirely sure what's going on in this photo. I'm sure the Nebraska people can explain it to us later, but the best part, I thought, was at the bottom, that little outline of the state. It says, Nebraska. Honestly, it's not for everyone. Who wants to go to Nebraska now? All right, so now we've been witty. Okay, let's talk about being immersive. Immersive means that when you go on the customer journey, every part of the journey, unfortunately for many companies, is usually created by a different person. Let's think about Benco, right? The salesperson is going to be in charge of that part of the journey. But if the customer then goes to the website, that's a different person who's in charge of that experience. Or maybe they get an email from my marketing team, which is a different part of the experience. Unfortunately, to a customer, oftentimes those experiences can look choppy because they're created by different people. Also, the transitions between those sometimes don't make sense because in a siloed organization, we're all in charge of our own silo, which is why it's critical in any business that you know where did your customer come before they were in front of you and where are they going next, and making sure that that transition is smooth. So an immersive experience takes all that into consideration, and the customer journey is smooth all the way through and consistent. Any fans of The Greatest Showman? Or anybody who has kids who are fans of The Greatest Showman? Okay. The Greatest Showman is a terrific movie. I highly recommend it. It's a musical. First, I want to tell you a true story. Every morning, I set my phone alarm, including this morning, to the theme song from The Greatest Showman. Now, for those that don't know, it goes a little something like this. Whoa! Doom! Doom, doom! Whoa! Ladies and gents, this is the moment you waited for. Whoa! Doom! So you can see why it wakes me up, right? Now, The Greatest Showman did something so immersive that I had to talk about it. And it took me waking up to that song like 90 times till it finally struck me. I can't believe I don't talk about this. The Greatest Showman, when it was successful in the theaters, convinced a lot of theaters to do a second run of the show, except what was different about the second run is it was billed as a sing-along version. So think about the experience of going to a movie theater. You're told to be quiet. You're told to turn your cell phones off. You're told to sit and not make any noise. And think about this experience. You're told to come in and sing as loudly as I just did. What an immersive experience. Is it any surprise that my 12-year-old daughter's favorite movie is The Greatest Showman? You know what her second favorite movie is? The only other movie that I've ever heard that did this? Frozen. Right? So they took an experience and they shifted it to be immersive so that you felt it in your bones. And for those like me that had this soundtrack running in our house 24/7 and know every word to every song, that is going to get you to. So one of the best and easiest ways to improve the customer experience is to find the parts of your experience that are customer pain points, that are difficult, that cause confusion, and to alleviate them. A great example of an immersive experience is our own Centerpoint experience. And I had the pleasure of having Melissa take me on a tour there. We're actually going to feature her on my podcast in a couple of weeks. That is such a great way to feel what it's like to be a Benco customer. Can you imagine trying to explain the Benco Centerpoint experience to somebody versus actually going through it and seeing all those operatories? It's amazing. I would recommend it to anybody to bring your clients there because that will get you to feel what it's like to be a Benco customer, and it's unique. You can't do it anywhere else. All right, we've been witty and we've been immersive. Let's talk about being shareable. Now, honestly, I normally talk about being shareable in social media, and I understand that may or may not be a goal of this audience. So think of shareable as wanting to tell someone else. After all, if a dentist tells a single other dentist about how great it is to work with Benco, and that happened to everybody in this room, we'd be in a very different place right now. So think about that shareable can mean going to social media, but also can just mean telling friends, families, colleagues, and other people in the industry. This is an awesome company that I want to recommend every person in this room use. It's called PunkPost. PunkPost allows you to download an app or go to their website and send a card to a client, customer, anybody else, that you type in, and PunkPost hires an artist to hand create according to your specifications. Now, what PunkPost has told me is, do you know what people do when they receive, say, a thank you note from you that's written by PunkPost? They hang it up in their office because it's a piece of art. Do you think anybody did that the last time you sent them a thank you email? Probably not. The cost of a PunkPost is basically the same cost as going to the store, buying a Hallmark card, putting a stamp on it, and mailing it. It's generally $6 or $7. And people absolutely love it. Anybody who's in a B2B business can do this, can create a shareable moment, because hanging it up in their office is sharing it with everybody else that comes into the office. And you get the brand recognition for that. All right, so we've been witty, immersive, and shareable. Let's talk about being extraordinary. Now, oftentimes, this is where I start to lose people because they think, I can't afford extraordinary, it's going to be too expensive. Extraordinary, by definition, simply means a little bit better than ordinary. Remember when we talked earlier about meh and how so many experiences are meh? All we have to do is be a little bit better than meh. And we're going to be in that positive experience area that people want to talk about. So there are tons of customer experience examples that I could share with you right now where companies spent millions of dollars on creating unbelievable experiences. I'm not sharing any of those because those aren't practical. But these are. First, it's important to remember that the number one most important factor in customer loyalty is reducing customer effort. Think about that every day. Think about how you can make your dentist's lives easier working with you. And you will create loyalty. This is at a Hyatt hotel. This is at the bottom of a nightstand. It is a motion-activated light. So when you wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom in a strange place that's always darker than home, and you step down on the floor, it lights your path. Amazing. Now, being the customer experience guy that I am and needing this picture, I got down on my hands and knees and looked at this thing. This is like a 50-cent item from Home Depot. This is not expensive, but it completely changes the experience of getting up in the middle of the night in a dark hotel. And to me, it's extraordinary for 50 cents. Okay, this is a restaurant in Chicago named Osteria Via Stato. Some of you may have been there just recently for the Warehouse Dash lunch. So if you have, you don't get to play this game. I'm going to come off stage for one moment and not trip, and I'm going to go talk to somebody here and ask a pretty simple question. Now, I promised I was going to talk to the people all the way in the back, but I'm not going to walk that far. So I'm going to come to a gentleman here who has the same barber as I do. How you doing, Brett?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing fine. All right. When you approach a door in the United States, you generally see two words. What are those words?
Enter and exit.
Enter and exit. It is a great answer, Brett. Not the answer I was looking for. So let's go to another guy that has the same barber as I do. How are you doing, Gary?
Good. How you doing?
Other than enter and exit, how about some words that are on doors?
In and out.
In and out also. A great answer. Also not what I was looking for. Okay, one more, and then I'm not going to Ball Guys anymore. Dan. I do. All right, how about some words on a door? I've never had to go 3 times. This is awesome. How about words on a door that you see in the United States?
Come in.
Come in. Can anybody else help me? Yes. Yes. Push and pull. Yes. Okay. Push and pull. Thank you. Thank you, guys. You're a good sport. So what's wrong with push and pull? Besides that no one can remember it. Push and pull, 2 4-letter words. They both start with PU, and everybody screws them up. Right? How many times have we seen the oh? Right? We mess them up. So enter the doors at Osteria Via Stato. These are doors in between 2 sections of the restaurant. They're swinging doors, and I'm watching as dozens of people are going through these doors. Customers, waiters, busboys carrying trays. I'm like, why is no one screwing this up? What is going on here, right? There's something that is different. And it is because Osteria Via Stato did not put push or pull on their doors or enter or any of the other things that were suggested. They used perhaps the 2 easiest words in the English language, yes and no. Now, did that cost them any money? No, it did not. But it actually solved a real customer experience problem, because if they had push and pull, I'm telling you, there'd be plates on the floor and spaghetti on people's dresses. I mean, it would have been bad, right? But the lesson here is simplicity works. Now, I'm a big Cubs fan because I'm from Chicago, and our former manager, Joe Madden, had a saying, do simple better. Now, in baseball, what he meant is if you hit the ball, run hard to first base all the time, right? Make the simple plays. But in customer experience, do simple better is a really great mantra to live by. How can we make things simpler for our customers? After all, we saw the stat about the #1 most important thing to loyalty is reducing customer effort. That's making it simple. Yes and no are I can't think of any simpler words than yes and no. Okay, any Chewy fans in the room? Any pet owners? I know Rachel in the front row has got to be a Chewy fan. That's my cat, by the way. That's Caboodles. So Chewy is well known as a online pet supplies company. And they're also well known for their incredible customer service. And Chewy had recently what I think is the greatest customer service email in the history of customer service or email. Pretty big statement here, right? Now let me set it up for you, because I'm going to show you the email, and it's really long, and I don't want you to read it, because it's not the point. Mariangel is a customer. She has a long-haired cat. She buys some litter from Chewy, not Chewy-branded litter. So think of Chewy as like the Amazon in this case. They're just selling someone else's litter. She didn't like the litter, so she left a negative review on Chewy's website. Not about Chewy. She loves Chewy. She just didn't like the litter. And she did it, she told me, because she wanted to warn other long-haired cat owners that this litter was not appropriate for long-haired cats. She leaves the review, and she thinks that's the end of it. until she gets this email. And again, don't read it. I highlighted some important points, and I'll walk you through it. The email says that we noticed you left a negative review about this litter, and we've refunded your money for the order. Now, Marie-Angel did not ask for a refund. She just wanted to alert other customers. Also, we've taken the time to research litters that are better for long-haired cats, and we've got 4 suggestions for you here, along with links to our website. Then it says, please give our love to Roma. That's right, Chewy knows the name of Marie-Angel's cat because they've been paying attention. And they have a furry wall of fame up in their office, and if Marie-Angel wouldn't mind sending a picture of Roma, we'd love to put her picture up there. Many whiskers, Stephanie H. Now, Marie-Angel had a bad experience ordering litter from Chewy. Where do you think she's going to order litter next time? Chewy. Now, I am willing to bet, I have not talked to Chewy about this, but I am willing to bet this is a templated email. And that what they do is they teach their agents, look for bad reviews, fill in 4 suggestions, see if you know the name of the cat or dog, right? They can repeat this. This is scalable. Think about how you communicate with your customers, even if it's one-on-one. How can you be more helpful? How can you remove barriers for them? How can you be simpler? This was amazing. And by the way, how do you think I figured out, I heard about this story? Because Marie-Angel put it on social media and called her favorite podcaster and asked him to tell the story on his podcast, which I did. Okay, that's how we get people talking about us. One of my favorite examples is a company called Uber Conference. Now, we've all been on conference calls, and we've all, I think, especially Sharon if she's in the room, have been the first person to arrive at a conference call and to wait on hold while other people are coming. Now, usually we hear elevator music or some annoying beeping or sometimes silence and we don't know if we've been hung up on. But imagine if instead, when you were waiting on hold, you heard this.
Well, I've been sitting here all day. I've been sitting in this waiting room. And I've been waiting on my friends. Yes, I'm waiting on this conference call. All alone. And I'm on hold. Well, yes, I'm on hold. I hope
It's not all day. Hey! All right, thank you. Now, true story, when I was waiting on hold, listening to this song, I didn't want the other party to join the call. Because I wanted to hear the end of the song. And if you want to hear the end of the song, it is on YouTube. You can search it up, Alex Cornell, I'm on hold. But think about how transformative that experience is from a typical, boring, ordinary meh experience to one that is so remarkable that it literally changes how you perceive the inconvenience of waiting on hold. That is incredible. So I actually thought a lot about Benco Dental when I saw that video. We help people be their best in the moments that matter. Isn't that what we do for dentists? Don't we help equip them to be there for their customers, their patients, in the moments that matter? So think about that the next time that the only thing you can talk about in Benco is some new product that we have, right? The product comes later. The feeling comes first. And when you have people feeling that way about doing business with a company, they'll want all your products, right? So I think Motorola does a terrific job with that. Okay, perhaps the most extraordinary advertisement in the history of advertising. This is IKEA. This did not happen in the United States because I don't think it would work in the United States, but it happened in Europe. And yes, that headline does say, peeing on this ad may change your life. You may notice at the bottom of the ad there's a strip. That strip is made from the same chemical as an at-home pregnancy test. If you pee on the ad and you are pregnant, a half off the crib coupon shows up. Amazing, right? Now, I'll admit, I share this one a bunch. I've shared it on social media, and some people are like, that's disgusting. I'm like, this is the most brilliant thing ever. And yes, they will actually let you take the half off if you don't feel like peeing on it. You kind of come in and you can prove in other ways that you're pregnant, I'm sure. But if a company can take a piece of paper and turn it into an experience, to me that says that really anything can be experiential. We just have to think about how to do it. Now, speaking of peeing, because we are speaking of peeing, right? This is an actual urinal in San Diego. Now, ladies, I want to be careful here and not share too much detail, but suffice it to say, that soccer ball is on a string and it moves. So use your imagination. But I say to you, in all seriousness, if someone can create an experience out of a urinal, don't you think that you can create an experience in your business? Yes. Okay. I would not be doing my job if I let you out of here just being wise. Because, hey, Shine and Patterson are wise. We want you to be wiser. And when you follow wise, what you're going to find is more people are going to talk about you to their friends, to their family, and in social media. And we have to be responsive. When people take time out of their day to compliment a company, think about what that is. That is a gift. As a marketer, we call that word-of-mouth marketing. It's the thing that we all strive for. And then what happens is so many companies ignore it. Now, if I get off stage today and you say, Dan, that was an amazing presentation, and I just keep walking, that would be kind of rude of me, right? But so many companies ignore compliments from customers. So responsive is the last part of my methodology. 82% of customers leave a company because of a bad customer service experience. As somebody once said, customer service is what happens when customer experience fails. You want to stop people from calling customer service at Benco? Make sure their experience is perfect. They won't call. When they do call, or when they call you, it is a critical moment where we can turn a customer that's upset with us for some reason because we delivered a met experience or we missed their expectations. It is a critical moment where we can turn them into a happy customer for life. Any fans of This Is Us, the NBC show? Okay. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody else, but this is one of the most critical scenes in the history of the series. This is the main character, Jack, and the antagonist in this particular scene, surprisingly, is that poor little crockpot in the back. Now, Crockpot, at the time this episode ran, did not have a Twitter presence at all. And yet the executives woke up one morning to thousands of tweets like this. Thanks for crushing my soul week after week. Additionally, I'll no longer be making my crockpot chili after last night's episode. Thousands of tweets. They jumped right on it. They created a Twitter handle. They started answering as fast as they could. We're heartbroken over last night's episode too, Kayla. We're innocent until proven guilty. Since the 70s, we've been providing families with quality and safe products. Here comes my favorite part. Ask your parents if you don't believe us. DM us with any questions. We'd be happy to tell you more about our safety standards. Anyone want to guess what Kayla does next? How about this? I apologize for what I said when I was in an emotional state. I could never live without my beloved Crockpot. So Crockpot, just to reiterate here, Crockpot turned somebody that was angry at their brand into a brand lover just by responding. I guarantee you Kayla didn't think Crockpot was going to respond to her. And she loves that brand now because it did. So, if you want to get people talking more positively about your brand, be it the Benco brand or be it your brand as an individual salesperson, be wiser, witty, immersive, shareable, extraordinary, and responsive. You will have people talking about how great it is to do business with you. You will have them telling their dentist friends and others in the industry. You will have them posting on LinkedIn groups and Facebook groups for dentists talking about how great it is to do business with Benco. And you will grow your business because of it. Thank you very much for your time today.